Good morning. Even earlier than usual today. There's always that feeling when you've been up later than normal because a game session ran long, and then you wake up early because of some stupid reason, and you really enjoyed the night before, but you also just really regret the loss of sleep. Yeah. Anyway, today's thought, topic, whatever we want to call it. I've heard some people refer to as two different topics, but to me, they're actually one and the same. So what I want to talk about today is XP versus milestone rewards, and also having different levels within the adventuring party. Now, the reason that they're connected to me is because, for the most part, keeping everyone the same level was a big part of why Milestone was introduced. It gets given a lot of different reasons. Oh, it's just easier to record keep. It allows you to kind of tailor the story to what level you know they'll be, and this and that and the other. But really, a lot of where Milestone came from, if you look at kind of some of the earlier developer comments and playtest notes and things like that, where it really came from was a culture now of making everything fair to everyone. I'm sure you can hear the disdain in my voice there. The world is not fair to everyone. The world is not meant for everyone to be exactly equal. In your circle of friends, are you all the same age? Have you all been playing D&D the same amount of time? Do you all have the same IQ? Or at work, are you all equally skilled at your job? No. Everyone has things that they're better at. And some people are better at more things than others. And some people have been doing things longer. D&D used to reflect that. This goes back to the days of wandering campaigns and the old AD&D system. And back then, the difference was that a lot of times you didn't have a character in a campaign. Most people had a character, and they would move that character from one campaign to another, and they would join in with whoever else was there. And this actually led to a culture for a while of, hey, there's a bunch of us that have gone into this dungeon, we got our asses kicked, we don't know how to beat this dungeon. Hey, somebody call up Jerry. He's got a level 10 fighter. He'll be able to help us. You know, we're all level 5. He's level 10. He'll be able to get this. He'll be able to kill this thing for us. And you would actually then call up someone who has not been a part of this game and get them to come join the game. Your character sends them a letter, and they arrive at the tavern. They meet up with you, and they'll go back into the dungeon and assist you. And this was a perfectly normal part of gameplay. If we're not big enough to handle something, we'll find someone who can handle it for us. Now, I realize we're not all going to go back to that point. Those days of D&D, sadly, are probably well past us. But the systems used to recognize that things are not always equal. Certain races leveled up faster than others. I think humans got 20% bonus XP. I think rogues got bonus XP, or it might have been when they were still called thieves before they changed the name. Some races got XP penalties. I think dwarves gained XP slower than others. And it was to represent the fact that different races and different classes advance in skill at different rates. It takes a lot more time to learn a bunch of new spells than it does to learn to swing your sword a bit harder. So a wizard would advance slower than a fighter. And this was just an accepted part of the game. No one thought this was unfair. No one thought this was biased. No one thought, oh, well, they're overpowered. No, there was an understood trade-off. And nowadays, that seems to have gone away. Oh, well, we can't have the wizard be more powerful than the fighter at 20th level because that's not fair. Well, the problem is that the trade-off that used to exist was, at first level, a wizard was much less powerful than a fighter. As they advanced, the wizard finally reached a point around 9th, 10th level when they were more powerful than the fighter, and then eventually gained power from there until they were much more powerful. That's assuming they survived the lower levels. The game used to also be a lot less forgiving, and a lot of wizards never survived the lower levels. This was also back at the point that they assumed that people would use all 20 levels of the game, or all 30 levels of the game, or however much was provided. They were not expecting this culture where most people play low-level games and never get above 8th, 9th, 10th. People are talking about what's fair and only ever playing half the game. And the problem was, at some point along the way, TSR and then Wizards bought into the idea that, well, if people are only going up to 12th level, then really we should make the wizard balanced against the fighter up to that point. So him being weak at the low level is not fair. So we'll make the wizard more powerful at low level, which then means that they got to a point in, say, 3rd edition, where by the time you got the wizard to high level, assuming you ever did, he was ungodly more powerful, because they had upped the power level at the low end, and it snowballed. Now, I'm focusing a lot on that aspect of it because you have to bear in mind that this is supposed to be a cooperative game. It should not be a matter of I need to be balanced against him, because the game should not be focused on you fighting him. The game should be focused on the two of you fighting something else. So the only question then should be, are you as a group balanced against the enemy you're fighting? So balance between one member of the group and the next member of the group should not come into it. If you're part of a military unit and for whatever reason you only have a pistol, are you going to say it's not fair that someone else in the group has a rifle? Or are you going to say, okay, yeah, you take that and you cover me until I get close? There's this odd concept of having to be balanced against the other party members. You don't have to be balanced against the other party members. If someone else in your party gets something awesome or cool or powerful, you should be thinking, yes, our party has something powerful. Now, I do understand that in games now, there tends to be a higher degree of backbiting or manipulation between players, and unfortunately that's a product of our times. That's a product of most of our groups. But we need to try to get away from that. That is not the point that D&D is trying to stress. And if we can get away from that backbiting, then balancing against other members of the group becomes less of an issue. Yeah, I mean, that basically covers what I wanted to say today. The idea of XP versus milestone, just going back to that for a minute. Milestone is a way to keep everyone the same level most of the time. My game, I'm actually trying out using milestone, and I still have people different levels because one of them got a magic item that gave him a level, and one of them drew from a deck of many things that gave him more than one level. So we've still ended up with that imbalance even using milestone, but that's in part because of things I put into the game. Both systems have their merits. Both systems can be used to accomplish similar things. I have seen GMs that use XP but then average it out across the group so everyone gets the same, so everyone stays together anyway. I've seen GMs that award XP based on what you do in the game, meaning that some people get more, some people get less, and some people level faster than others. I myself have actually used XP in that way for a number of years. There was also a point that I used XP as a penalty system if you didn't show up. You know, if you were not there, your character got no XP. And we had characters that fell 2 or 3 levels behind because they couldn't make sessions. I've given people bonus XP for being on time or early to games, because when you're on time or early, then we get started on time and we get more time to play. So if you show up on time, you level faster. Yeah, so I've tried out Milestone, and I think I'll be going back to XP next game. I think it gives me more control over how I thank my players for what they're doing in the game. So hopefully this hasn't been too much of a ramble. I'm sure it has been. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you've got any friends, let them know about this channel. I always appreciate it. I'm over 400 views, I believe, so I might try to do something a bit different when I hit 500. Haven't had thought what that will be yet. Yeah, have a good day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.